Okay, hello everyone. Let's get started. Okay. So last session we started talking about we started using Tableau. We talked about how to import the data. So the first thing we did, and we should keep in mind to do it again, which is like adding the tables to the view. So make sure that like when you have your Tableau, first add the tables and then check the links. Make sure the links, if there's like the links between tables, they're correctly set. In this case, we created them. Here we can also like see the columns in each table, the data set, the data that is recorded in each table. So we have 3 tables: customers, orders, and products. Then we talk about 4 different queries. Let me, I'm gonna change this a little bit. Okay. Okay, now we have it. So last session, we talked about 4 different queries. We started with this bar chart. We talked about creating a bar chart in Tableau. A few things we talk about: the toolbar. This is where you have a few important things like the sorts. Okay, so if you want to sort them, sort the results, you use them. If you want to change the dimensions, you use this button to change the dimensions from horizontal to vertical. And then if you want to sort them based on ascending or descending, this is the button that you use. We talk about the show me. That's where you you have your charts, and like you can change the chart. You can choose the chart that you're looking for each query. Then we also talk about on the toolbar, there's like a standard. You see here the button for standard. You have multiple options. This is important when your charts are small, so you can like change the way that you're showing the chart. Especially if you have a pie chart, that's the one that you use to like select entire view, so you can increase the size and make it more visible. Then we talk about these marks. Okay, so we mostly use 2 of them: label and colors. Label is the one that you use for adding the labels to the chart. So in this case, you see like we were showing for each region sum of cells, and what we did, we added the cells as a label. We added them as a label. So what we did, in order to add as a label, you like select on the column. Okay, in this case it was cells. You click on it and then just drag it to the one that you want to add. In this case, label. So if you drag it, that's how you can add it as a label. For colors, you can see that the bar charts are like colored. You want like basically usually the query asks you to like to color the charts or like use a specific column for coloring. In that case, in like especially in this case, we had the region, so we just like dragged region to colors, so we can use regions as a color, and that's what we did in this chart. So anytime if you're using for label or if you're using a column for a color, click on the column and then drag it to that mark. Here we saw like we talked about this. We have the tables and like the columns of each table. The good thing about Tableau is that it kind of like separates the numeric ones from the other fields. So the numeric fields, you can see them. They're like showed as with a hashtag. That tells us these are the ones that we will use them for calculations. Okay, so we have discount, profit, sales, orders count. So here we have the region, for each region, sum of cells. And then we talk about the second query where we talk about like average cells by each region. In this case, as a reminder, every time you add a calculation, there is a default aggregation function, or like there is a default measure. Usually the default measure is sum. So in this case, once you drag like cells here, it will add aggregation as a sum. That's the default. When you want to change the aggregation or the measurement, click on the down arrow here. Okay, so you have a measurement for cells. We are looking for average cells by each region. So click on the down arrow, go to measure, and here you have the different measurements. That's how you can change the measurement to what you're looking for. So if it default is sum, you always see sum, but that shouldn't like confuse you. That's the method you use. Like you need to change the measurement. There's actually a way to also change the measurement. You see here, we have these columns here. We can check what is the default measure for them. So if you click on the field itself, click on the down arrow here, go to default properties and then aggregation, you can see the default is sum. Okay, so the default is sum. You can change the default. Depends on like when like you look at your queries and see mostly are looking for like the sums or looking for averages. If that's the case, then you can change the default so you don't have to every time change the measurement. You can change the default. And again, total, so like total using like access that we were working on like creating total queries the same way here. So here we created a pie chart. In this case, that was the one we talked about, like this version. So when you're creating a pie chart, usually creates a small version. So that's why we use the one that we would change the size of the chart to entire view, so we can see the chart in a more like understandable way and also more visible. So from here, that's when we change the for the pie charts. The last one we talked about, this was average profit. The feature unique about this one was that it was like showing you, like it was asking you to show average profit by country, but also filter it for a specific set of countries. If I go back to the query, this was the query we created. So create a pie chart for average profit by country, only for United States, China, Germany, and France. I will drag it back. Anytime you want to remove one of the columns, just drag it back and it removes it. So this was our chart, average profit by country. Then we talk about we want to apply a filter. Anytime you want to apply a filter, drag that column that you're using for a filter and drag it to filters. So in this case, we're using like we want to like filter the results for country. So I'll drag country to filters, and then I'll click on none, and then from here select the countries that I'm looking for. So the one that we talked about was United States, China, France, and then Germany. And click OK. And that's how we can like filter results based on a specific country. If you had other columns that you're using for a filter, let's say for a state or like for a city, just drag that column to filters and then select the one that you're looking for. That will apply that filter. Okay. So this was kind of a quick review from what we did last session. So let's move on to the queries that we have here. So first query, or fifth query, create a vertical bar chart for sum of profit for each category and subcategory. Again, let's kind of like also keep in mind the connections that with the prior module. So we talk about access. Before even like working on this, I can see that like what is the queries asking us? For each category and subcategory, show sum of profit. So I will go back to access. This is the same data set. I just created the access file. Okay. Is this a total query? Yes. We have an aggregation. We said every total query has two things, at least one aggregation and at least one group by. So in this case, for each category and subcategory, we want to see average profit. So I have the products table. I will add it, and I will add the orders table. It's a total query. I'll add the totals for each category and then subcategory. These are the ones that I'm like using for group by subcategory and group by category. And then for every total query, you have to have at least one aggregation. So in this case, we are looking for sum of profit. So I have the profit here. Okay. It's not a group by. We never do a group by on like a numeric field. Okay. So what we are doing, we are using it for a calculation. And we are like, that's the method, like the aggregation that we're using, sum of profit. So I have two group bys here. I'll change the format to currency, go to properties. Okay, for some reason it removed it. Okay, so go to properties, change the format to currency. I will sort them based on category, okay, and also profit. Then run the query. Okay, so for each category and subcategory, I can see sum of profit. Okay, let's keep that like in mind. What was the maximum? Okay, we're gonna come back here. So now let's create the same query here. So if you remember from last session, if you're a Mac user, you can hold command, right? So hold command button here, and then you're looking for category, subcategory, and then profit. Okay, select the columns, and then once we selected the columns, you're looking for, we can go to show me and select the chart. So we are looking for bar chart. You're looking for bar chart. That's how I can add the chart here. Selected the columns, and then we add that and create the chart. Let me do this way. The other way is that I can drag, I have two options here, columns and rows, okay? One is the one that we are using for group by, and then the other one is like the calculation part. So I want to see for each category, for each subcategory, okay? For each category, for each subcategory, I want to see sum of profit, okay? I want to see sum of profit. How do I change the dimensions, or like basically horizontal or vertical? From here next to like sorting the results, there is like a swap button here. You can change the way that you're showing the chart. You can see that like the location, so it doesn't matter like which one of them you're placing, like the category, subcategory in the rows, and then columns, sum, profit. But they're not putting them in the same row, right? If you're trying to show it like a two-dimension chart, show in one dimension the category and the subcategory, and then the result of calculation for each one of them. So I'll show it this way. Now we can apply those changes like to the chart. So the first thing is change the color by sum of profit. So I will click on profit again. Okay. If we want to like use them to change the color or change the label, we just click on the column and then drag it to the mark. So profit, I will drag it to color to change it as a color. Okay, so I'm using sum of profit to color the like the bar chart. So again, if I want to do that, I'll just click on the bar like profit and then drag it to colors. Okay, drag it on colors. Then we want to use add labels. The same way we're using sum of profit to labels. So we have the labels here. Click on profit, and then drag it to labels so we can add sum of profit as a label. Okay. Again, click on the profit, bring it and drag it and like leave it on label so it adds it to label. So we have the use sum of profit to color the bar chart bars and also like add them as labels. I should actually hide this so we don't need it. We also talk about like anytime you're working with the monetary value, let's change the format to currency. So you only have two of them here. You might have multiple of them, like using the same column for like colors, profit, like labels and other things. That's why every time check it. So in this case, the label is like use the T, right? So check this one. This is the T. So that's the one that we're using for label. Let me change the format to currency. How do I change it? Click on down arrow here. Go to format to change the format to currency. So click on the down arrow, click on format, and then you will see numbers to change it to currency. Okay, so click on format. From here, from the number, change it to currency. So we can see for each category, subcategory, sum of profit. One last thing to make it more organized and like more understandable, let's sort these like this the bar charts based on descending. Okay, so click here. You have two options, descending and ascending, like on the top, just next to like swap the results on the toolbar. So I will order them based on descending. What am I seeing here? Looking at the chart, you can see that for each category, you can focus on each one of them in the subcategories and see which subcategory creates more profit. And actually, you can see that this one, okay, this shows us that like we're like actually losing money on that category in the tables category in furniture. One thing we can change it to make it more like kind of like understandable in terms of profit is that changing the color. Okay, so you have the colors here. If you click on colors and then click on edit color, so click on colors and then click on edit colors. So we can change the color palette. That depends on what chart you're presenting. In this case, profit. So if you can like show it with red, it kind of makes more sense, like you're losing money. So I'm gonna click on edit colors and change the color palette. Okay, so we have this here, red, green, diverging. Yes, okay. Okay, so red, green, diverging. This way it's more kind of intuitive in terms of like profit. So click red, green, and that's when you can see like which subcategory creates more profit, which actually subcategory creates like negative profit. So now, what do we have here? Copier, right? In the technology category, 210,000 profit. That's the same thing that we got here. Okay. For each category, subcategory in the copier, 200,000. So the thing is, the results is the same. The presentation is different. Which one is better? You can't say which one is better than the other one. It's like the audience matters. Like you have to learn how to work with database to create queries and then show the results for a different reason when we're working as a like with the database. And then when you want to present it, you don't want to show it this way. It doesn't like it is not like informative enough. It shows you that, but this way you can actually quickly see which one like is resulting more profit and less profit. So depends on the audience where you're talking to. But the same way, we created the same query, the same output, but the presentation is different. Here we had a total query, two groups, like like columns to group by. Okay. Group by. Every total query has this like one specific total. In this case, you have two of them, two group by. And then for the calculation, you have to specify the aggregation. If there is no aggregation in the total query, either it's not a total query or you have to figure out which one you're using for aggregation. So keep that in mind. Okay, you can't have all of them grouped by. If that's the case, maybe it's not even a total query. So that's a measure you can check to see if you're creating the query correctly. Okay. Any question? Okay. every last step of a query. So let's change the title and change the sheet title. First, change the title. I want to change the title of the chart here in this row, sheet 5. Double click and then change the title. So the title is sum of profit for each category and subcategory. Oh, I'll place it in center, visible, and that should be the title of the chart. You want to have the title of the chart, so if you go back, you know what, or you're presenting it, you can tell them what is the chart, what the chart is presenting. So add a nice title to the chart. And I will update this sheet 5 here to query 5. Good. Yes. Okay. Let's move on to the next query. Okay, query 6. Create a graphical map for sum of cells for each state. So for each state, we are looking for sum of cells. We are looking for sum of cells for each state. We have the cells here, okay? Again, we can like we have columns and rows. We can drag one. Okay, I can select the state here from the. So these are 2 columns that I'm going to use, right? State from the customer table, and then cells from the orders. For each state, I'm looking for total sales or sum of sales. From show me, okay, you have graphical maps, 2 options. Always check, like if you're not sure, if you like bring your cursor on top of the chart, it has the title. So you can check the titles, like title of the chart. If you do that, like it will help you to identify what the chart that you're looking for. So in this case, we are looking for the field map graphical. So this is the map with the field map. So click here, and then it will show you for each state sum of cells. For each state sum of cells, this field map. It automatically colored use sum of cells as a color. So to color the states, you can see that the color is from the dark like blue to like lighter blue, indicating that like from high profit to low profit. So as much as it like has a higher profit, it's darker. So this one has the highest profit in the states. And then like as much as it gets like the lighter and lighter, it means that the lower profit. Now we want to apply 2 things. First, we want to add title. Okay, we want to use state as a label. So we have the state. Want to add a state as a label. Want to add sum of cells as a label, so we can see on top of each state what is the state name and also sum of cells. So I will drag a state to label. Drag a state to label so we can see the label of the each state. And then sum of cells. Okay, cells, just cells here. Drag it to labels. Okay. So 2 things. We are adding the like a state and also cells as a label to each state, so we can see how much was like total profit, total sales. It's a monetary value, so we need to change the format to currency too. Which one? again, check the one, like check these icons to make sure which one you're using. So this is the one we are using for label. Okay. So that's the one. I will go click down arrow, go to format and change the format to currency. Okay. So here again, click on down arrow, click on format, and then here in numbers, change the format to currency. If you remember from last session, we also talked about we can update the format of the labels. Okay, we can change the format and of like the way that the labels are shown. How do we do that? Click on the label. Okay, click on the label, and then on the text, you will see these three dots in the like in here. You see the text, and then you will see these three dots button with the three dots. Click on that button, and then like a window will open, and that's how you can like format the way that you want to show the labels. So I click here, this window opens, edit the label, check the label. In this case, I can see that like my labels are not like organized correctly. First is the like the sum of cells and then cells. I want to have one first a state, and then below a state sum of cells. So I will need to update this. Select this state if you have the same issue here. I'll select it and then drag it to the top. Okay, drag it to the top and then click enter. So again, select it, drag it, and then click enter. That's how we can just organize them here. Once it's fixed, then we can center it and then change the state to bold. Okay, so two things. First, I organize them and then center them, and then change the format of the title to bold, so like I can show that contrast. Okay, and click OK. This way, now we can see the state highlighted, and then sum of cells for each state. Any question? Okay. Let's change the title of the chart. Okay, so this is sum of cells for each state. Okay, sum of cells for each state. I will also update the title of the sheet to query 6. Query 6. Query 6. So what was it? It was a graphical map. It's a field map. So that's the one that we use to create this chart. Okay. Next query. So want to create a vertical bar chart to show sum of cells and sum of profits for each category. For each category, show sum of cells and sum of profit. Let's quickly go back again. All right. So I want to create a query. Okay. what is it? Okay, cells, yes. So I'll drag this product here and then drag the orders table here. It's a total query for each category. Okay, group by each category and show we have two aggregation here. So that means like in a total query, you can have more than one aggregation. We have only like categories, like that's the one that we are like and summarizing the results for each category, group by each category, and then okay, this access today is very slow. Profit, and then sales. Okay, so are they grouped by? No, we are using them for the aggregation for each category, average profit or stated average profit, sum of sales and sum of profit. So I will change them to sum and also sum. This one is not needed. Okay. So that would be our query if you were creating this like question or query in Access. Now let's create it here. We are looking for each category, sales and profit. So I selected them. We are looking for a bar chart. So I will click here and then click on the bar chart to create the bar chart. I'll change this to like vertical. What is vertical? Yes. Okay. Have it here. One change, like check the order here. We want to show them like first sales and then profit. Okay. So if yours also like showing first profit and then sales, just click here and then drag it before this, like before the profit. Okay. So it shows first sales and then profit. Again, you can drag the columns like here, just like click on them and drag them. In this case, we want to sort them in a way that first comes sales and then profit. Okay, so first sales and then profit. So what does it show us? It shows like total profit for each category and also total sales for each category. We don't want to show it this way. We want to show it like in one chart. One chart to show profit versus sales. So how do we do that? Here, okay, sum of profit. Click on the down arrow. Okay, click on the down arrow. Once you click on the down arrow, you have this dual axis. Okay. Go down, click down, like down arrow for the sum of profit. And then from here, click on dual axis. What will happen is that then it shows us like in one chart, like versus each other, like sales versus profit. Okay. So again, let me just go back. So what I did, first I organized them. Oh, okay. First I organized them. It was like profit and sales. So I drag back here. So I have sales and then profit. Then for some profit, click on down arrow and then go to dual axis. Once you click on that, it shows you like the two charts in one chart. So now we have the category here. We have the category, each category, and then profit versus sales. We can see that. We want to create a bar chart. So we want to show sales as a bar chart. So how do we do that? Here on the left, you see some sales and some profit. Okay, so you have two options for each one of them. For the sales in the chart, like automatic, select bar. Select bar, so you can change it to bar chart. Again, here, okay, you have all, click on this cells, some cells, and then click on this chart selection, and from here choose bar chart. That way you can change the dot, like the circle, like a circle chart to a bar chart. So if I click here, bar chart, then it shows me sales versus profit, but shows sales as a bar chart. It automatically shows profit as a circle. Here for the sum profit, you can also select circles. If it wasn't showing, you can like choose here circle, and it shows you the same thing. It doesn't change it because automatically the default is sales circle. Okay. So let me quickly go over the steps we did here. First, we had the sum of profit. So click down arrow, click on the axis, so you can see like next to each other. Then we change the way that the chart is shown for cells. In this case, for cells, change the chart to show as a bar chart. Okay. So now we can see like cells and like in which one we have higher profit versus cells. We can see that it's still, you can see like the technology category creates more profit. We have these cells in the furniture, but our profit is actually much less than how much we sell. Okay, so we created the chart. We just need to do the other things. Change the title of the chart and also change the sheet title. So this chart, I will change the name to sum of sales and profit for each category. For each category. Okay. I'll center them and like I'll just go with the same format that I've been going. Okay, and then this is query 7. Okay, any question? Okay, seems to be fine, everyone. Query 7, or actually like query 8. Query 8, create a highlight table to show sum of cells for each category, subcategory, and product name. So what we want to do here is to create a hierarchy. Create a hierarchy that shows us category, subcategory, and then product name. And then for each one of them, you want to see sum of cells. So let's see how we can create a hierarchy. So here, do you see like in the category, in the product state, you have the categories, you have the subcategory, and we have the product name. So we want to create a hierarchy. This is the step. So click on subcategory. Okay, click on subcategory, drag it on top of category. Drag it on top of category. Okay, drag it. Once you try to leave it, that's when it creates the hierarchy. Okay, so once you try to leave that, again, so one more time, click on subcategory, drag it on top of category, and try to leave it. And that's how it creates the hierarchy. Okay, and then click OK. So now we have the hierarchy. We have category, we have subcategory. So the hierarchy organized in the same way. If you were like trying to change the hierarchy organization, you can drag it up and down. Okay, so you can drag it up and down, so you can like say top of the hierarchy is something else if it wasn't like organizing it correctly. The same way, now we have the product name. This time we just need to drag it under subcategory so we can add it to the hierarchy. So click on product name and then drag it. Once you drag it like under like subcategory, you will see that line. Once you see that line, just leave it there. Okay, so click on product name, and then drag it under subcategory. You will see the line. Once you see the line, you can leave it. Once you leave it, it adds the hierarchy. So now we have category, subcategory, and product name. Okay, category, subcategory, and product name. If we want, we can also change the title of the hierarchy. Since we also have we have category, subcategory, product name. We can just click on the down arrow here and then rename it. Okay, click on the down arrow, click on rename, and then you can add or update the title. So I'll add a comma and then type product. Okay, product name. Again, so here it was the title of the hierarchy. Click on the down arrow and then click on rename so you can update the title, the category, subcategory, product name. Okay, we created the hierarchy. Now we can use it. So for each category, we want to show sum of cells. For each category, sum of cells, I'll select the cells, okay? Category and cells. Click on show me. Which one is the highlighted table? At the top row, the third one is the highlight table. If you go there and you will see that it shows you that it's a highlight table. Okay, so I'll click on highlight table and that's what we see here. Okay, you can see automatically assign sum of cells for color and also sum of cells for label. Okay, sum of cells for color and sum of cells for label. One thing you want to change is the format, right? So format of the sum of cells, the currency. Click on the down arrow here. Okay, click on down arrow. Click on format, then change the format from the numbers to currency. Okay. So again, here we have the sum of cells. Click on the down arrow, go to format, and then change the format to currency. But why we did that, create that hierarchy? Now let's see how it works. You see this category here. Now it has a plus sign here. So if you click on the plus sign, it expands that. Now creates the result for shows you for each category, subcategory, sum of cells, because of the hierarchy that you created. Okay. Then again, if you expand that hierarchy, now we can see for each category, subcategory, product name, sum of cells. Okay. So if you want to close it, and again, you see the category, that would be your outcome. Okay. We can also sort the results. Let's sort the results. So we have based on descending, based on the sum of cells. It's a highlighted table. So you can see that it colors the rows, the cells based on that sum of cells. So each row, it shows you from as much as it gets darker, it's higher cells, as much as it gets lighter, it's less cell. Okay. Portion. Good. Yes. Seems yes. Okay. So again, let's change the title this time. Title of the chart. Sum of cells. Sum of cells for each category, subcategory, and product. I'll center it and create bold. Okay, so if we created a highlighted table using the hierarchy we created, you can still use each one of them separately, but then also you can expand it to see the hierarchies too. So it's very beneficial in different cases. Okay, so this was sum of cells by each category, subcategory, and product name. I will change the sheet title to query 8. Query 8. Okay. Let's like kind of for reminding. So how, if I ask you to filter the results, how would you do that? If I said, let's filter the results only for United States. So in that case, we can click on country, drag it to filters, right? That's the one we use to filter the results. Okay, drag it to filters and then select only United States. Okay, this way we can only show the same results, but this time only like filter it for United States. So again, if you were asked to like show this, but also filter the results for a specific country, then you drag the filter, drag that column to filters, then select that filter. And so in this case, United States. Then we can see them separately. So for each category, subcategory, sum of cells for the United States. Okay. Actually, this is a good query we can talk about. So to remind you, what is the use for where, right? So if I can create a query, if it's not slow enough, let's see. Okay. I want to drag products and then drag orders. Okay. Okay. Yay. This is very slow for some reason. I'll remove this. It was extra. Okay, it's a total query. So I want to see for each category, for each subcategory. Okay, group by this category, subcategory, and sum of cells. Okay. So sum. Now, how do I like shows us sum of cells for each category and subcategory? Now I ask you to show it for only the ones that is for United States. Okay. So I would have to add the customers table here. Add country. Okay. Can you tell me, okay, this would be in the criteria row, that's where you add the criteria, right? So that would be like United States. Okay. United States. Now, what should I assign for the total? What should I assign for total? Am I using a state for group by? Yes. Where, right? So whenever you use a column to filter the results, that's when you specify it in the totals where. It automatically hides it from the output table and it uses it only to filter the results, right? That would be our total query. Great. One last chart. create a line chart to show sum of profit for each year. We don't have a year, but we have an order date that we can use it to extract year. In this case, we don't need to create a formula like what we did in Access. It automatically does it. So I'll select order date, and then I select profit. Okay. From the chart, so line discrete, that's the one, line discrete. Okay. Line chart discrete, line chart continuous, line chart discrete. Okay. It's in the middle, and that's how we can create. And you can see that it adds order date, but also automatically adds a year. For each year shows the results. And then hide it. It is like a hierarchy, right? So the date shows us as a year, but it's also a hierarchy. So if I expand it, I can see for each year, for each quarter, for each month, okay? So for each year, profit, total profit, or sum of sales. So that's sum of profit again. Okay, that's it. Then change the colors by category. So I will click on category and drag it to colors. Drag it to colors to change it. So we can see for each category in each year, what is sum of profit. I can expand it to see for each quarter in the line chart. Okay. So that's the line chart to show sum of profit for each year. There is an interesting thing I found about this one. You know, this will tell us a lot of things. Like I found this one. Like, do you see in quarter four? Let's check the quarter four. Okay. So in quarter four, if you check the quarter four versus the other ones, there is a jump in the profits, right? So it shows that a lot of people actually buy a lot of technology in the quarter four, right? So that's about like everyone, like at the end of like November and December, Black Friday. So they go and buy these technology things in the quarter four. So that's the quarter that like these businesses make more profit. So that means if you want to buy the Amazon stock, you go and buy it before quarter four, because that's when they make the most money. So you should buy it, it will jump. And don't buy things, there are stocks in quarter two. You see quarter two, okay, quarter two. So basically people don't buy furniture in April, May, June. That's quarter two. So don't buy any furniture, like furniture is like a stock before quarter two, because that's when they have the worst quarter. But then they have a huge jump. That summer, people try to buy furniture for their apartments, the houses. So you see that jump in quarter three for the furniture. So use that to buy the stocks and make the profit. Okay. Anyway, so that was it for today. Let's check the attendance, and that should be it for today. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Keep in mind, like whenever everyone wants to try to do it, sometimes it's a little bit slow. So if that is, just refresh it and see if it's recorded.